What's goody, y'all?
Hey guys.
What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Life is Weird podcast. I am Sage.
I'm Queso.
I'm Kels.
I'm Gabby.
And that's us. We Life is Weird. What's up? We back at it. Episode 6 in this thing. We finally passed the halfway point. I just want to take a moment to thank y'all for rocking with us.
For sure.
We love y'all. We love y'all for real.
Like, all the feedback is so appreciated. We out here doing our thing. Yeah. So before we even get into the title, let me just give my acronym first. So my acronym that I came up with, it has a little vocabulary word. I'm gonna have to give y'all a little definition real quick. So it is wounds expose incongruous relationships with dads. So
What that mean, girl?
incongruous basically means not in harmony or out of place. So yeah, wounds expose incongruous relationships with dads.
Ties it. Perfect segue.
Weird.
Perfect segue into what we are talking about today, because it's gonna be it has potential to be a very heavy one. So brace yourselves, guys. We are talking about daddy issues.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, we get into the topic of daddy issues. I think all of us have very varying perspectives to share about this topic. So we gonna see how this goes. So I do want to start it off just asking y'all just a general question. How would y'all describe your current relationships or like your current standings?
Who's the
with your
shameless
dads?
plug?
Oh my gosh, rewind, shameless plug. I did not start yet. Our shameless plug today is for our beloved, the amazing, talented Miss Leah Thompson.
Yeah, snaps.
My girl, okay? Miss Leah is, she amongst many things, she is a apartment locator agent basically in Atlanta. So her business is called The Lux Locator, located in Atlanta. If you're looking for an apartment,
A luxury.
hit her up.
Okay.
Luxury
Not a little
apartment.
rink-a-dink.
Okay.
She ain't gonna find you no little rink-a-dink.
Okay.
Period. So yeah, so that's what we shouting out today.
Shout out to you, sis. We love
Shout
you.
out to you, my girl. And I'm sorry, I didn't pull up your Instagram. Your Instagram is The Lux Locator, at The Lux Locator. So TheLuxeLocateur. Straight like that on Instagram. Hit her up for your apartment needs. I know y'all leases is about to, end soon. So back into the topic at hand. So daddy issues. So whoever wants to start, how would you describe your current relationship or standing with your dad?
You wanna pop it off?
I guess so. My current relationship with my dad is it's kind of hard to describe, but in a word, maybe not the only word, I would say it's very surface level. We've never really been super close, I would say. Yeah, we've never really just had that closeness. And I think that could be for a multitude of reasons, just of him kind of just being a very stern, Caribbean raised man, who, I've kind of felt like has been kind of closed off just emotionally for most of my life. So I would describe our relationship as a service, and we'll go into, more things as we go along with the conversation, but that's kind of me for right now. So
Yeah.
That was okay. That was well. I was gonna say that was really like well phrased. I like how you said, due to some like emotional, probably like disattachment that he's had in his life and stuff like that. So the fact that you're able to recognize where he's at in life and what that probably stemmed from, I think that was really good. I would say my current relationship with my dad, that's my guy. My dad and I are actually Pretty close. It wasn't always like that though, but my dad and I are pretty close. Yeah, he's kind of like my best friend in a way. Like, I have a good relationship with both my parents, but I would say I'm definitely a daddy's girl. When I want something, I go to dad. Like, growing up, especially if my mom told me no, I can't have this. No, we're gonna make it happen. I'm gonna go to my father, and he's gonna figure out a way to get it for me. Or just, yeah, I get whatever I want. I'm definitely a daddy's girl. So we are pretty close. And I would say our relationship, a word to put with it, I would say it's evolved. That's what I would describe it as, because it wasn't always like this. But
That's beautiful.
yeah, shout out to you, PD.
We love that. We love evolving.
So, my relationship with my dad, we didn't, in a word, I would say indifferent.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
that very
We're
much.
cool. We're very cool. I don't have a bad relationship with my dad, but it's not much of a relationship, and I think it's because, like, my parents aren't together. They were never together, like, married wise. So I didn't grow up in the house with my dad. Like, we were cool. I would go visit, for the summer or Christmas, whatever, what have you. So, like, he was in my life, but he wasn't there every day. And it wasn't anybody's fault. At some point we lived in different states, so it's nothing that either party could help. So, like, we're cool. There's no beef. And, like, he's understanding. I can talk to my dad about certain things, but, like, it's not like a that's my guy kind of thing. It's just like, yeah, that's my dad.
Yeah.
I did want to ask before. Sorry, Queso. Like, did everyone grow up with their father prominent? Well, I know Kelsey said they were separate households. How about you, Gabby?
Yeah, I grew up with my dad. There was a point where my dad was, like, when we first moved to Georgia, my dad was working back and forth between here and New York for some years, not even just for some months. So there was a point when I only saw my dad probably like once every like 3 months or something like that, just because of work. And I remember that being I moved down here when I was 8, from then up until like almost the middle of middle school, maybe, when it was like, yeah, he was here, but him being back and forth, there were times when it felt like he wasn't here because he missed important milestones in life for me, that, it felt like he wasn't here sometimes.
No, I feel that. And just briefly, yeah, my parents were married all my life, so kind of similar to Gabby. My dad would travel a lot for his job at one point before the pandemic. For like quite a long period of my life, but like I said, even still, like, we just weren't really close. We were in the same house, but don't really know each other that well. But sorry, Queso. So yeah, how would you describe your current relationship?
Yeah. Well, to start off, so my mom and dad got divorced when I was pretty young. So, but my mom, she met my stepfather when I was like 4 or 5. So even though I didn't grow up with my biological dad, I still grew up with a father figure, which I'm very blessed to say that, because I know there's some people who don't even have that. So my relationship with my biological dad, I like to describe it as being like, my father was like kind of wishy-washy. He was in my life when I was a child, like when I was still living in Germany, because I spent my elementary school years over in Germany. And that's where I was born. So like when I was over there, like, he was doing pretty good. But then things started to change, and then that's when he would be in my life when he wanted to or when it was convenient for him, and then I wouldn't really hear from him for a while. And then it's like the times when he would try to be in my life, it was like he was overcompensating, so he would like blow my phone up trying to be in my life, and then there were times where I didn't hear from him for months. So that's what I mean when I was like, he was wishy-washy. He was there, he wasn't there, but I will say, like, I grew up with a lot of resentment towards my father. I will say that. But my relationship with my stepdad is great. Like, he's always been there for me. He's done a lot more for me than my biological dad. He supported me financially when my real dad couldn't. So I'm blessed to be able to say, like, I had a father figure growing up. It just wasn't my biological dad. But even my stepfather, like, I still respect him tremendously. So yeah.
Do you call your stepdad
Dad? I don't. I don't. But I even told him, I was like, look, just because his name is Joseph, shout out to Joseph.
Hey, Joseph.
You know, I'll be like, look, I don't want you to think that because I don't call you dad that I don't respect you. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, you've done so much more for me than my real dad. Like, I have so much respect for him. And even when it comes to like telling, you know, like things that happen in my life or like big milestones or, you know, even when I was in nursing school, like there was a time where I didn't think I was going past nursing school and I broke down, and he was the first person I told. I didn't even tell my mom.
Wow.
I told him before I told my mom. So like I definitely feel like I can come to him, you know, if I need anything, for sure.
Great.
But yeah.
That's great. Okay. So yeah, definitely different but somewhat similar relationships, it seems like we kind of all have. So yeah, so I wanted to ask, do y'all think having a relationship or lack thereof impacts like who you are as a person, how you maneuver through life, and like how you view yourself, and like in what ways have y'all personally experienced it? Like how you see your relationship has like
Affected who you are. Yeah.
like, how you move.
I will say for me, it's definitely affected the way I maneuver. I had to learn a lot of hard lessons because of the lack of relationship that I had with my real dad. I had to learn how to forgive people that weren't even sorry. And to learn how to do that at a young age is hard.
That's so hard.
But I learned how to do it. It wasn't easy. And learning how to find closure, you know, in situations that you might not get closure from, you know. So that was something that I had to learn from my father, but it has helped me, you know, with my relationships and like, okay, you know, I might not get closure from this person that I was talking to or dating, but I know how to receive the closure that I need.
Yeah.
I learned that from, you know, not the best circumstances with my dad, but it's something that I learned and it's something that I can take with me. So I will say it definitely affects the way I maneuver, the way I look at things. It affects my dating life. We're going to get into that later on in the episode, but yeah, that's my personal stance.
That was good.
That was really
I
good.
liked how you talked about forgiving people who aren't even like sorry. That's a life lesson that I feel like is just so difficult to master, like in general, regardless of who the relationship is with. But it's probably even harder when it's like parent relationships, you know, or just somebody that you're like very close,
right?
Like you have a, you know, connection with on that level.
And even in a previous episode, you mentioned your first heartbreak. Learning how to deal with your first heartbreak. A lot of times, the first heartbreak is from
your dad.
You know?
And it's funny you brought that up because like my dad actually listened to the, you know, he listens to the podcast, and so he did hear that, and I guess that kind of ties into, you know, the question that you asked Sage about how I maneuver and like view myself and stuff like that, because I would say from him I learned like sacrifice. My dad, the times he wasn't around, it wasn't necessarily because he didn't want to be around. It was because like he had to, you know, make things shake for the family and like put things in motion like for the family. And to me it looked like he just didn't want to like be there, or like he was able to be a part of like more of my brother's childhood than mine. And so to me it looked like favoritism, and like I did have like that resentment and stuff built up. But as I'm older now and get to see like when you're a parent, sometimes certain circumstances and stuff, like you have to do what you have to do. And if that means like being absent for a certain period of time to like make things happen or whatever, like you gotta just do what you have to do. And he didn't really realize until like, you know, I spoke about him being my first heartbreak on the episode, like how it comes off like from a child's perspective. Like when I was younger, he was like, I didn't really know the impact that it had like on you until like I heard you talk about it and stuff like that. And like we've had conversations about it and grown from it, and you know, are able to have that. But I would definitely say I learned sacrifice, and sometimes sacrifice can, like, you have good intent when you sacrifice certain things, but it can still hurt people around you. And I definitely think since there were times when I would see my mom doing a lot of stuff in the house or just, you know, in general, the way it kind of shaped the way I view myself to be like super independent and like not ask nobody for nothing. And that can be a good thing and also a bad thing because like asking for help is something that can hinder your growth. Like not asking for help can hinder your growth. And so I feel like that has played a role in how I maneuver and like how I view myself.
Quick question. Sorry, Kels. Do you feel like if y'all were to have a conversation when y'all were younger, would that have changed your outlook on the way you viewed your dad working? Like, was there ever a time where you were like, Dad, like, why are you gone for long periods of time? Or y'all never really had that conversation?
I don't think I really ever stopped to try and ask those questions like why are you gone or like why are you not here and stuff like that, because I don't know, like part of me didn't really like, I know I wanted to know the answer when I was younger, but sometimes you don't ask certain questions because like it's like, do you really want to know the answer? Or like if you do get the answer, is it going to change anything?
Is it going to be satisfying?
Yeah, you know, like is it going to actually fulfill what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Sometimes we ask questions just because we're trying to satisfy something in our brain, like fill that little part. So I feel like if we did have a conversation, it probably would have helped a little bit. But I think it's just one of those things kind of like you have to learn with age and like with time and experience. Because I don't really think if 8-9-year-old me would have asked
processed.
why you say you can't make it to my dance recital because you got to go to work, I would have been like, I don't care about that. Like, I want you to be here. You better take off. Like, switch out with mom, something. Like, you know, tag her in and be like, okay, you going to work now.
Yeah.
And then you come be here for this because I want to show you my moves. Like, so I don't know if, in theory, I think it would have helped. But, like, realistically, I feel like it's just one of those things I had to learn with like, time.
Yeah. That was good. That was great.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all, my heart beating so fast right now.
Okay.
It's okay.
Because I'm trying so hard not to cry.
It's okay. Breathe through it, sis. Breathe through it.
I'm a thug. Right.
Gabby not the right person to sit next to you right now because I just want to hug you. You know, Gabby ain't gonna hug.
I didn't want to hug you and then it make you cry more, so that's why.
It's fine.
Just tell me what you need.
What do you need from me?
Let me get to you.
It has definitely made me, like, I've noticed I'm a very aggressive person. Because, like, I didn't really have that male figure to kind of, I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay. Hold my hand. Hold my hand.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Ew, this is ghetto. Like, it's the first question. What am I doing right now? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, y'all. What? I didn't eat today.
There's power in transparency.
Just breathe.
Yeah, like, I've noticed, like, I'm a very get it done kind of person. I'm a very aggressive person because not really having that father figure, my mom had to do everything. And I know this is about dads, but she did. My mom had to do a lot, and that's what I saw. So it was like you said, I love that. I'm a very get it done. Let's get this work done. Like, let's work. We don't give up. Like, I love that I'm that person, but it has hindered me in my friendships and in my relationships too. Like, it's great for business, it's great for work, but it's not. It can hinder you, like you said. I don't like asking for help. I hate asking for help, even from my parents. My mom had to tell me the other day, like, why didn't you just ask me for some money? And I was like, because that's embarrassing. And she was like, how is it embarrassing? And I couldn't answer her. So it wasn't the other day. I got paid, but it was like a few weeks ago. But it was just, it has definitely shaped me into, I'm a very aggressive person, and I'm a very, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with the whole soft girl era trend, right? Because it's like, okay, what the fuck? But I do like it in a sense where I feel like it's not forcing, but like it's kind of making us more like cognizant of trying to get back to really living in that soft, like, because like you said, like it seems like it's so hard for us to be soft, and you know the way we're raised plays a big part in it. But like I do like the idea of us getting back to that femininity era, the soft girl era, where we can just kind of live in that softness. Like you said, it's really like I feel like that does play a big part into why a lot of us have trouble asking for help.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we have to step up to the plate because our lack of relationship with our father figures or whatever. But yeah, that was just my little.
No, but that's correct, and it's like I know for me, I want to find a balance between like handling my business and also being able to be soft.
Yeah.
And I've noticed like it's so hard for me to do both simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I've been trying to kind of figure out. Because I didn't see that because my mom didn't have that.
That ability to be soft. Yeah.
Like that I could do
that,
you know what I mean? So
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Not me crying.
I'm weak. Listen, I've been listening to y'all's answers, and I've been trying to figure out how I want to answer this myself. Because I feel like I haven't really acknowledged, like, how my relationship with my dad has really affected me until, like, we started planning for this episode. And I really started trying to get to think, like, why do I do some of the things I do, and how can I relate this to this man? So
Not this man.
there are a lot of ways. I can definitely acknowledge that there are a lot of ways that I've been impacted by my relationship with my dad, but just really pinpointing a lot, some I haven't really gotten there yet, but ones that I know that I can see is just being really just closed off and not knowing when to open up, and not I feel like I have like high emotional intelligence, but I am not good with letting people into myself. Like, actually, like, I'm good at like receiving it. I feel like I'm good at giving advice, trying to, you know, be there for people, but I've never been good at like me doing, like, me putting myself out there. Because I mean, really with both of my parents, like they never really talked about like if they was going through hard times like that. My mom maybe a little more so, but like when I think back on it, I really don't know my dad, and I literally grew up with him all my life in the house.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't. We don't know each other. We don't know each other. So I could definitely pinpoint things that I can that I see in like dating, which we'll get into, but just how I maneuver in general, I just feel like, I don't know. I hate when I make that noise. Sorry, I'm trying to think. I don't know. Like,
is there a part of you that's scared to dive deeper into that? Because I know you said you feel like you don't really like.
Yeah, like, yeah. Maybe so. And also I feel like a lot of my childhood is like really, really hazy.
Mine
like
too.
I don't remember a lot of
I don't
stuff.
either. I remember the randomest moments. And it's like I blacked a lot of stuff out.
But
so
when
like,
it's a
what
moment
about
to
5?
think about something, I don't.
5 years old is hazy? 5 to 8 is hazy for y'all?
I can remember like certain moments, but just like my mindset and like how I viewed the world and like viewed my parents, viewed everything, I just can't really tap into that. Like, I haven't been able to really tap into that, and I think that will definitely come with when I finally get to therapy. I think that's when I'll have some enlightenment. But yeah, I haven't really been able to tap into that lately, but I do know that just like I can be really closed off just emotionally. I can be really kind of like what's the word, like reserved and like kind of
Disattached from stuff, you think?
Disattached and kind of giving off like not mean, but just like just like, I don't know.
Pessimistic?
Not even really pessimistic.
Throwing words. Indifferent?
Just like dark. Just like I feel like I have like an aura sometimes where I'm just like
like eerie, dark.
Yeah.
Irritable.
I guess, yeah, irritable. I definitely get that from him. That's a good one. Thank you. Irritability. Awful, and I recognize that completely in him because I just see how just like
Stuff just be bothering.
just bothering him,
I
and
know
it
exactly
irritates
what you're
me.
talking
And I
about,
know
too.
that I do the same thing, and I hate that. I really hate that about myself. I get really,
Don't say
really
that you hate
irritated.
it. Just that's
I
something you
do,
have to
though.
work on.
I
But
do.
one thing that I just don't want us to do anymore is use hate when it comes to ourselves.
That's a good
Because
point.
we're not perfect,
That's
and
a
we're
good
never
point.
gonna be perfect. So it's not even fair
Yeah.
to say
Yeah.
that about yourself. That's not
That's
fair.
true.
So it's something that you need to work on. Like
Yeah.
it's fine, but don't say you hate it.
Yeah.
And I think the feeling you're talking about, like, the way you feel like you don't really know your dad, or like a mix of like both of your parents, but more so your dad. I don't feel like that's an uncommon feeling, especially for like Caribbean children.
Yeah. for sure.
Because you're not the
Right.
first person that like I've talked to who's been like in a Caribbean household with like both of their parents, and they
Don't know their
just
parents.
they don't, and their parents know nothing about them, and their parents literally just like they're just there. I don't really they're just there, and they just focus on their roles as an adult. Like
That's their
when
love
I
language.
like when I think about, okay, like my mom's parents, so my grandparents, my grandma and my grandpa, it's like they have two completely different lives in the house. And I don't really know if, sorry mom, I'm putting your business out there, but it's kind of my business too because it's my grandma and my grandpa. Like, I don't really know if my mom could say that my grandfather knows really anything about her, or like what she likes, what any of her or her sisters like, what they like to do, what they like to eat. And I don't know if it may be a dad thing in general too, because sometimes like I'll see videos and stuff and kids be like, Dad, my favorite color is this, and the dads know nothing, they don't know anything, and it's like they remember like selective things. And I definitely feel like, I don't know, maybe it is a dad thing. That dad's definitely got selective hearing. Because sometimes
That's a man thing.
I find myself telling my dad some stuff, and I'll be like, "Yeah, Dad, you remember I told you?" "No, you didn't tell me that." And I'll be like, "I promise you, I did." And he's like, "Nope." And maybe it's because men have a lot on the brain, and like they're always thinking of like different ways to make stuff shake, but like, or little attention to detail. I don't know what it is, but I definitely feel like that feeling you're referring to and stuff like that, it is not uncommon, and you're not the only person who's experiencing that or has experienced that. Not just Caribbean households, but Black households in general,
Black
for
households.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely in a lot of Black households, Black American, Caribbean, African,
All of it.
all of that.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I will give my mom more credit. She we definitely have like a close relationship, and pretty much always have. I always consider myself to be like a mommy's girl, but yeah, it never really went that far, even with her sometimes.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I feel like I don't know if y'all are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy.
Yes, of needs.
Yes, right. So there's a triangle or a pyramid structure, right? And it's like, okay, on the bottom of this pyramid is like the basic necessities that we need, right? Food, shelter, clothes, right? And then as it gets higher and higher, you get to things like, okay, social support, emotional support, right? And I think like the top is like
self-actualization.
right. So I feel like a lot of parents, the reason why y'all were like, okay, a lot of Black households, Caribbean households are like, a lot of people experience that same, like, okay, I grew up with these parents and they grew up with me in the house, but I don't really know them for. I think it's because a lot of parents forget to focus on the top of that pyramid. They're like, okay, as a parent, I need to provide food, I need to provide shelter, I need to provide. But it's like, okay, not just clothes on my back, not just food. Like, I need the emotional support, right? I need the love, So I feel like it's we need to focus on the top half of that pyramid because parents forget.
Perfect visualization.
Yeah.
Literally.
And I wish I ain't going. I don't know how to like. Y'all look it up. Y'all Google it.
Yeah.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yeah.
Jinx.
But no, yeah, that was definitely a perfect visualization with the pyramid for sure. I think that like our generation of parents are gonna do a lot better job of being fulfilling those higher
the higher parts.
The higher parts of the
pyramid.
pyramid, like the
Yeah.
emotional support and things like that. Yeah, because I mean, it's a historical thing with us as Black people having to just fend for our lives and not
Be in survival mode.
be
Yeah.
in the
Have
house
time
and
for the
you
other
know
stuff.
having the luxury of raising our children in that kind of way and being like emotionally supportive and all those kinds of things. So yeah, for sure. We gonna get it right, I think. But yeah, so thanks for your answers. I do want to get into daddy issues and dating because I think that's one that we for sure can all
Relate to.
put together. I just say. Man, I have had to have a lot of like self-realizations with how my father issues reflect into my life with these niggas out here. Okay?
Yeah.
Like
These niggas. Girl, I got a story to tell.
I'm ready to hear it because seriously, like
How has it affected our dating?
yeah, like personally, I feel like you'll either be out here running from your daddy or going straight to your daddy every time.
Yeah.
Like pretty much.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of somewhere in between. Like I have recognized myself dealing with men that are really like closed off, and for some like that wouldn't be like a deal breaker for me. But then like eventually I had to realize that shit wasn't cool. Like I would accept a lot of like just harshness and like closed off energy because of kind of how I saw my parents interact. Not to put their business out there, but for sure, like it was just a lot of realization that I had to come to, and realizing that I had to get my shit together with these men because reflecting like him directly, like me being mean to men. Like, and just being overly irritable and just like, towards like men that I'm dealing with that I actually care about, and like thinking that it's okay, but it's not. Like, it's not that bad. No, it's not cool. So that's just one that I can think of right now. But what would y'all, what are some instances that you recognize, like, the way that I am moving in this relationship might gotta do with my daddy?
I know me, and it's crazy because I came to this moment of self-realization like not too long ago, pretty recently, right? So it ain't no secret that I tend to hold on to the potential of niggas, right? And I was like, I had to do a little social. I'm like, why am I like that, right? And it's crazy because, like I said before, my father has been in and out of my life. He's been wishy-washy, right? And we always say that like people's actions need to line up with what they say, right? So it's like he would tell me he loves me, and I wanted to believe it so bad, but it's like your actions aren't saying that you love me. So I feel like the reason why I be holding on to these men is because like they say that they like me and I want to believe it because I'm like, you're saying it, but your actions aren't aligning with it. So it's like, and I had that moment the other day. I was like, well, not the other day, but like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, damn, like I'm so used to my father saying that he loves me and that, he's gonna, and he's had a lot of like false promises. He's promised a lot to me. And I told y'all this the other week when we planned this episode. I was like, I kid you not, in the last 10 years, my father has probably given me a total of $60 and a bracelet. He's missed a lot of birthdays.
Jesus.
Hasn't been to my high school graduation, but he was living with my grandma, and my grandma came. So I was like, how you come me? You ain't right.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the one to buy me my first car. He was pissed when my mom and my stepdad bought me my first car. But my mom was like, if we were waiting on you to buy it, she would have been waiting forever. He wanted to buy me a laptop for school. But it's like, he had all these false promises, and it's like I wanted to believe him, but it got to a point. I remember I was like in 6th grade, and he was like, I'm gonna give you money for your birthday, and I was making plans with this money. And I was telling my mom, she was like, oh, we're gonna go here and do that. And I was like, oh, well, my dad's gonna give me money. And it hurt her heart because she was like, it got to a point where I had to tell you to like stop depending on your father to send you this money because you're not gonna get it.
Jesus.
And she was like, I didn't want to tell you that, but she was like, he gets your hopes up. And she was like, I see it as a mother. He gets your hopes up. And it's like, as a mother, I have to tell you to like not rely on this man. And it's like, it's your own father. She doesn't want to tell me that. But that is something that I had to learn to do. So it's like now that I'm older, it's like these guys are telling me like, oh, they like me, right? And then like they'll even say little things like that point to us having a future together, you know, where it's like, oh, well, you know, next year for my birthday. And it's like, you want me to be in your life next year?
Right.
What? We ain't even there yet. And you already planning me to be there. So it's like, okay, well, like I'm expecting, you know, these men to like live up to these, you know, things that they're saying, and like, okay, you like me, you're interested, right? But then their actions don't always align. But I'm still clinging on to that because it's like, well, you told me, you know. And I hope people don't just say things that they don't mean, but people do, and that's what I'm saying. You got to learn these lessons from your father, and even though they're not great lessons to learn, it's like you got to learn them anyways because these niggas gonna do the same shit. So that is how I feel like my relationship with my father has correlated or like impacted my dating life. And I've been doing so much better though, y'all. I've been doing so much better. You know, I've been at peace, and I've been, you know, cutting things off in the beginning. And I'm like, look, I've started taking men for face value. I'm like, all right, who is this person that they're showing me that they are right now? You know, they're saying it. Okay, I'm giving them time to allow their actions to align with their verbiage. But yeah, no more of that. I can't. I can't do it.
Is there and not in pieces?
Okay.
Is there like a way, well, I don't know if they interacted at all, but is there like a way that you've seen your mom and your biological dad interact that you like can like mirror into how you treat your relationship?
No. My earliest memories of my mom and dad ever being in the same room was of them arguing. And I want to say I was 3 because there was one time where like my mom was picking me up from my dad's, and I was in one of those car seats where like, you know, at different ages you can start sitting in different car seats. Right. So I remember what car seat I was sitting in, and I was like, okay, I was in that car seat before the age of 5 or 4. So that's how I was like, okay, maybe I was 3. So I think that's like my earliest memory. But yeah, I remember my mom putting me in the car seat and then closing the door, and her and my dad were like arguing outside. I don't have any pictures of all of us together. And I always say, I'm like, I wish just one day like we could just all sit in a room and like play spades or like play a board game or something, you know, like act happy for a minute, because I do not have any memories of like my mom and dad being in the same spot and not arguing.
And they weren't married.
They were.
Oh, they were married.
They were, but they just got divorced when I was hella young.
Okay.
Yeah. And like, because even my mom, she was like, he wasn't always like that. She was like, the person he became to be was not the person who I married. And that's another thing that scares me, because I was like,
that's so scary.
That's so scary.
That is so scary.
Yeah, because my mom was like, she was like, Sadia, I love you. But she was like, if I would have known that your father would have been like this, I would not have had kids with that man. I was like, I do not blame you. I do not blame you. Yeah.
A lot of situations.
Because she was like, he's done nothing.
Yeah.
He's done nothing. And
That
even
is
like
so
when I was in
scary.
elementary school, like there were times where he would get all of my siblings together. We would all hang out. So then when he started changing, I'm like, who is this
want the
person?
same
Yeah,
man.
this wishy-washy man. I was like, there was a time where you were actually doing good. What happened?
I wonder if
Addiction. Addiction, for real. Addiction, for
that's
real.
probably what it is. It's the, you know, that can really break you down as a person.
Alcoholism, got into smoking cigarettes, and I don't know what other, I don't think he's done any other drugs, but alcohol was probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll mess you up.
And that's one of the worst ones, honestly. But how about y'all? Daddy issues and dating.
Okay.
Okay, me? Okay.
I mean, it's literally the same answer as the last question. It's just, I'm just a very aggressive person, even if it's aggressively positive. I'm just, you can do it. that's just me. It's just always been me. And I think like, again, I can be good and I can be bad. And I've noticed in dating, like sometimes I be fighting. And it's like, I'll notice like if he'll say something and I'm like, no, that's not right. Or even if it isn't, I don't know how to approach it in a way where it's like, you know, let's sit, let's talk. And I've gotten so much better at it now. But that 19 to 23-year-old me, she was wild. She was angry. She was very angry. So I took a lot of that out on the guys that I dated. Because my mom even told me, she was like, you are so mean to men. And I was like, so?
You told me that.
Yeah. Because
So
I
crazy.
saw me in you.
Yeah, no.
I was like, I did the same thing. You are mean to men. Because I was mean to men. I was mean. Or I would self-sabotage. I'd be like, you know what? Red flag. I'm out. Not even giving him a chance. Because that's less disappointment. There's less people leaving my life. And that's not healthy.
Yeah.
That's not healthy.
It's like
at
I hurt
all.
them before they hurt me
Yeah.
type of situation.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like, oh man, my stepmom listens to this.
It's okay.
He's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
My dad's not a bad guy. My dad had to grow up. And that's why it's like, when people ask me about the relationship with my dad, it feels weird because it's like he's not a bad person.
That's so beautiful for you to say that and to realize that.
Yeah,
it's so
'cause
easy
he's
for
not.
us to forget that our parents are human. So the fact
Yeah.
that you were able to say that, it's like, you know what? Let me take my dad out of this superhero role.
Yeah.
Take him out of his cape. Take the S off his chest and look at him as a human. So it's so beautiful that you said that.
Because it was just always, I could never really pinpoint what my relationship, that's why I use the word indifferent. Because it's like, yeah, he was absent for a lot of things, but he also did come to some stuff. And yeah, like, it's a very surface level relationship, but we have had our moments where I could talk. That's why this is weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely just, I be pushing hard. And I need to not push hard sometimes. Yeah,
Soft girl era.
soft girl era.
Ooh, I've been thinking this whole time, y'all. I've been listening, but I've been thinking. I definitely, for a while, I used to think I would gravitate towards men that were opposite of my dad, but god damn it.
Her man look like
My man looks like my daddy.
her dad, bro.
I would put a side by side here for the visual for y'all to see, but y'all would be in my business too much. You're too enough, like we say when you're Caribbean. Too much to put a side by side, but no, like dead ass.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. My dad is brown skin and bald. Okay, when my dad was younger,
Your daddy is light skinned.
he's brown.
Girl, I know.
He's brown. I'm brown.
Her mama
Whatever.
Barely.
Okay. Well, when my dad was younger, like, no funny shit, my dad looked like Carlton from Fresh Prince. Maybe we could insert a little throwback photo
I'm so
of
dead.
that. You know when you see, like, how they say, like, men back in the day, like, 90s men or whatever, like, they're just different from...
It's a different kind of fine.
That was my dad.
Different kind
It's a
of
different
fine.
kind of
Like,
fine.
my dad,
and the
you know, I'm a good look. I look like my dad, so my dad's he's a good looking man. And when he was back in the day, yeah, I could definitely see why he was in the streets. Yeah, sorry, Dad, I know. But my boyfriend and my dad, I realized they have a lot of similar characteristics. They're like best buds. They have each other's number. They send each other memes
so
that is
cute.
so
and
cute.
making plans like, oh yeah, we're gonna go hear this and that, and I'm
Did
like,
they hang out without you one time?
yes, they did. And now that you brought that up, I'm mad all over again because they went like, my dad is into cars and everything. He always has been ever since I was younger. Like, I remember one of my childhood memories, he used to do like donuts with me in the car. I'll be in my car seat just having a ball.
That's a cool
And my
dad,
mom
bro.
would be like, "Are you insane, Peter?" Like, but he's a car guy, and like, my boyfriend's a car guy. They've hung out, like you said, separate before. He hung out with my whole family without me. And I was like, you just don't, okay, got you.
That's his family.
You
now.
just, okay. Okay, cool.
Love that.
And this is, I think, really it's only my second boyfriend, but my first boyfriend that I think my dad actually likes a lot. My first boyfriend, he was we got into some trouble. So, I think that's what made
If you told that story.
I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Getting caught.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I think
backseat.
that's why he did it. You just gonna air all my business like that?
Wrong episode.
Wrong episode.
I'm sorry.
It's episode 4 if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. I don't even think, I didn't tell that story on air.
Yes, you did.
I think
About-
you did.
About
You got
the
caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, you told
I
that.
think you did.
well,
You
shoot.
put all your business
Well,
out there.
Well, but no, I definitely think they have similar characteristics. So my boyfriend and my dad, they do get along really well. And my dad is a very caring, selfless person. My dad will give his last dollar for me, my brother, my mom, anybody that he cares about. My dad would literally, like, he's definitely the definition of, like, I'ma die trying. Like, he will literally give his all for us. And I think that's one positive thing that my boyfriend also, like, he'll give his last dollar for me. Like, he would do anything, like, to see, like, that smile on my face and stuff like that. My dad, he don't play about his kids, so he's definitely protective, just like my boyfriend. But on the negative, or the reconstructive part that we still working on, God damn it, they're hard-headed. My goodness, like they definitely, if they have something in their mind that, like, is correct to them, they will not back down. But I'm the same way too, so I guess that's why it doesn't work sometimes. Like, that riff, like, if you have something made up in your mind and then you're speaking to somebody else and they, like, think different, but you know you're right in your mind, yeah, that's definitely my dad sometimes. Like, he will stand 10 toes on, like, what he says. Or, like, I'll never forget one time,
Girl,
I was getting up from the dinner table and I was like, okay, I'm done. And he was like, no, you're finished. I said, excuse me? They're synonyms. He said, no, they're not. I said, look them up. I said, look them up. Yes, they are. He said, you're finished, not done. And I said, I was like, you know, not backing down either. I was like, I said what I said, I'm done. Like, and he was really getting upset about the fact that I wouldn't say finished instead of done. Like,
oh no.
and so then when he, like, got upset and stuff, he was like, I'm going for a drive. And he just, like, left out.
You're lying.
I'm for real. Like,
Oh my god.
and I was like, okay then, like, whatever. Sassy pants, like, you know.
This be on their time of the month. I don't give a damn.
I was like, they really do.
I don't give a damn.
I was like, okay. But then, you know, he, like I said, my dad has definitely evolved as an individual. And like you said, it's important to think of our parents as human before they are actually, like, our parents. And so he was able to come back and say, like, you know, have that self-realization, like, you know, there was no need for us to be going back and forth about it done or finished. But yeah, sometimes I definitely feel like I pick men who can be pretty, like, hard-headed or, like, stubborn. I did the self-sabotaging thing for sure, just because, I don't know, I felt like it was a good, like, cop-out and, like, defense mechanism. I'm not a very touchy-feely, lovey-dovey type of person. My dad is. And when I really sat back and thought about it, I don't really have any memories for real of, like, my mom hugging me or, like, loving on me and stuff like that. It was really more so from my dad. So then, like, the men that I do end up with, they end up being more of a physical touch type of being, and it's something that I'll, like, I have to, like, adjust to and everything. That's especially because my mom was, in my younger years, like, kind of more present than, like, my dad. So I kind of adapted more to her style of, like, love language than his. But, you know, when you're in a relationship and stuff like that, tapping into that femininity, like we said, the physical touch, affectionate aspect of it is something that, like, as a woman, we want to be able to do. So that's something that it's been, like, you know, an uphill battle, but I've been getting a little better. And sometimes I'm just going, like, love on my dad.
Because you gave me a hug.
Yeah.
I did, and I rubbed your arm.
You did.
I figured I was like, this is comforting.
It was.
But I figured, like, you know, just trying to just tap more into that side. And sometimes I just go, like, hug or, like, lay on my dad, and he'll be like, what do you want? And I'm like, why does it mean that I need something? And then I'm like, you better take all this loving now.
Right.
Like,
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm in the mood today.
You better take all this, soak it all in now. He's like, yeah, because then next thing you know, like, you're going to have your husband or whoever, you're going to be, like, loving all up on him, and I'm going to be forgotten about. I'm like, oh, God, I'll never forget about you and not show you love. But I definitely see a reflection of my relationship with my dad in my dating styles for sure. Like, it's crazy how it has that type of impact.
But that, like, well, what, just circling back to what I was saying before, like, how women it seems like they tend to either run to their fathers or like from their fathers. Like kind of what you were saying, how you kind of tend to run to men like your father.
And it's a blessing and a curse. My God, it's like, it's kind of scary sometimes. It's just like.
Yeah. For me, it's been both. Like, I feel like I've experienced both. Like, I have sought out more loving and like affectionate men, but then found that I didn't really know what to do with it. Like, I wanted it. I'm like, oh, I want that because I didn't really get to see it. But then when I get it, it's like
Overwhelming.
I'd be cringed out, and I'd be like looking at myself like, bitch, you're done. Why are you cringed out?
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah.
But you don't know how to receive it.
Yeah.
And then I've also sought men that are like him in the ways that they're real like mean and like closed off. And have just had my feelings hurt.
Yeah.
Trying to give that love. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm definitely seeing both sides, but I definitely think one thing too is just kind of how I communicate in general with men, like just seeing how my parents communicated with each other, like how they kind of lack thereof, like real healthy communication. And I definitely can recognize that in how I have seen myself communicate with men, just kind of like either going from 0 to 100 or just not wanting to hear each other, just being extremely stubborn. My dad is extremely stubborn. I'm extremely stubborn in like just arguments with men specifically. I feel like with women, like I'm good with hearing things back and like bouncing off of each other, but with men and like specifically romantic relationships, like I always got to be the one right.
That's
not good. That's not good.
That part.
That's not good. And it's just in those romantic relationships. Like
As well.
even with guy friends, like I feel like even then I can kind of keep it at bay with, you know, more heated discussions, but with your man, I gotta be right. Like nah, it's my way. It's for sure stubborn. And it's not great. I gotta work through some things.
It's crazy that you say that too, because like I was as you were saying it, I was like, dang, I do that.
You see that in yourself?
Bro, I'm over here like
seriously.
Because it's crazy how like we can all have a discussion and agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But man, why is it so hard?
It's like like they get defensive sometimes, and it's just like I'm just trying to
I
have
find myself
a
getting more
conversation.
defensive even.
Yeah.
With men.
Yeah.
But also too, I feel like the way that like what men communicate and women communicate, it's actually like way different in a way. I feel like we respond to situations sometimes off of emotion, like what we feel emotionally and stuff, and men, they're just thinking of like what would logically make sense. And it's like if you're responding with a, oh well, logically this is what would be better, or logically I would do this, but the response requires an emotional type of response, then there's always going to be that rift, because
there's already that disconnect.
Yeah, there's already that disconnect there. And like I read an article or something about that in class, basically about like, you know, communication between men and women and how it's so different. And it's
weird.
just like, yeah, it's
weird.
No, literally.
I feel like I've seen that on the flip side too, like a lot, like with men being a little more emotional with like how they communicate, and women being like, what the fuck, no, like more kind of
lines get crossed.
logical, I guess, more like unemotionally intelligent in a way. But okay, yeah. So that was some great points. Definitely, I'm sure a lot of people will be able to relate to everything we're saying. Okay, so one question I can think of right now, for anyone who wants to answer, because I know all of us may not have like a real significant like, you know, experience, but has y'all's dads been like a different parent to your siblings in comparison to how they parent to you that you can think of?
Yep. My dad is a lot more involved in my older brother and my younger sister's lives. And again, I know it's because I didn't grow up in the same house with him, and I know like he doesn't mean to do it, but it's you can see it. You can see it. They're a lot more comfortable with each other than with me.
So your older brother and your younger sister have the same mom, right?
Yes.
Okay.
My older brother is my stepbrother. He's been my stepbrother forever. So that's just my brother.
And they grew up with your dad.
Oh, and your dad isn't your older brother's biological. Okay, his step. Okay, got you.
I still can't connect the dots in my head, but but it's not your fault. I'm just a little slow.
My stepmom, that's her son. And when they got married, he was already, because he's older than me.
Ah, okay.
So
I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah.
So that's her step brother.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm there.
That's my brother though.
Okay. Well, yeah. No, that's fair. I personally, I don't really know. Me and my sister haven't really gone into too many conversations about how we've like experienced our father.
You should do that. I'm curious.
We should.
Yeah,
but I think ours is
I
very,
would love
very
to
similar.
know.
I know that we're both closer to our moms for sure. But I do think, at least growing up, maybe because my sister was more into sports and, you know, my dad is a man. It didn't have, you know, younger sons. Like, he had older son. But he, you know, didn't have any sons.
Y'all got a brother?
That's what I said.
Older.
We learned something new
every episode.
She has a brother.
Like,
she's a biology major.
I tell them this quarterly.
How old is he?
You didn't know this? I tell you this quarterly.
Maybe I don't remember. Maybe
You might not know.
You did. It's coming back. It's
How old
coming
is
back.
he?
He's like 40 or close to 40.
Oh my God.
Yes.
You have a 40-year-old brother?
And I have a sister too, older sister.
Yeah, I
You
do
have,
remember
whoa. Okay.
know this.
Okay.
Girl, you show us off camera what they look
Yeah,
like. 'Cause I'm
'cause
curious.
never knew that.
I forgot about
Not
that.
the sister, like, at all. I never knew that.
But
Sorry, y'all.
but even with them, I don't really know how they experienced him either because I don't know how young they were when their parents got divorced. God rest their mom's soul, by the way. And he, you know, started with my mom. So I don't even know how they experienced him. I really don't know, but I'm sure it was probably pretty similar. I mean, he was younger with them, so it probably was very different. But I guess since he was an older parent with us, maybe that plays a part into it too. But
That's
That's
interesting.
interesting.
Surprisingly, with Blake and I would say usually I feel like dads are a bit more lax, like on the boy child. But I think my dad is actually a little bit harder on Blake than me. But it's probably because, well, like he is a young man, and I know my dad has told us stories or like situations where he is not necessarily like trying to right his wrongs from when he was younger, but certain things that he's done or like decisions he's made, like he doesn't want Blake to repeat the same things as him or have to like struggle as much with certain things. So I feel like to try to, you know, prevent that from happening in a way, sometimes he can be a little bit harder on him. But I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because Blake is sometimes Blake is hard-headed and he has to learn through experience. A lot of his lessons have come from learning through experience. But yeah, I definitely think sometimes my dad could be harder on Blake, but it's not necessarily in a bad way.
Yeah.
okay. Did your dad have siblings or a sister?
My dad has 3 siblings actually. He has my dad is the oldest. He has a brother who like he grew up with, and then he has 2 sisters. My grandpa was a
Rolling Stone.
Yeah, Rolling Stone. So all of my dad's siblings are all from different women. Yeah, pretty much. So I actually have an aunt who is like Blake's age.
That's crazy.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't grow up with a sister though.
No, he didn't grow up with his sister, but he does have 2. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you want to input, Casey?
Yeah, real quick, because I have 2 siblings on my father's side, so we share the same dad, but they have different mothers. I think we all probably experience our dad in the same light, because me and my siblings, we talk, and they say the same things I say.
Okay.
And even my little sister, her name's Atia, she'll be like, does dad, like, call you, like, 10 times in one day and then, like, just not call you at all? I was like, yeah, yeah, same thing. And she's annoyed by it, too. I will say, though, I don't even want to say it's favoritism, but, like, my dad, he was only present for my birth, so that is something that he brings up. So like I don't want to say he says that he feels like more connected to me because it's not favoritism, but that is something that he brings up where he's like, well, you know, I was there when you were born. I didn't get that experience with.
Wow.
So I don't know if it's like more like a guilt thing.
Yeah.
I think he's probably just feeling guilty about it, but like it's not like he's showing me favoritism.
Yeah.
Ain't no favoritism.
You're
But
not his oldest though, right?
no.
Okay.
He has
Are
a
you
son.
the middle?
I'm the middle.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm the middle. I'm the first girl of his. But yeah, but he has a son. His first child was a son. So yeah. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, definitely different, I think, experiences that we've had. Do any of y'all have like a specific like fond memory or moment that sticks out in your brain with your dad? Or on a different side, is there something specific that your inner child wishes you could have experienced with your dad?
Yes.
Go ahead, pop it off, son.
Okay, so my dad was my first date. Yeah, sorry, I got something in my eye. I'm not crying.
Nah, I was over here rubbing too.
It's okay if you are.
No. Y'all
Don't try
no. Y'all be trying to get me. Y'all be forget y'all. Y'all be wanting to see me in my emotional femininity.
I do.
No. But yes, I do have. I'll never forget, and I always bring up this moment or memory, like when I talk about like my childhood or like one of my fondest memories of like my dad and I. So my dad was my first date when we were living in New York. He said he was gonna take me out and everything, and this was really like my first time going to the city, like going to Manhattan. So just picture like little small 8-year-old me. I had on this like pink, white, and black like dress with like the puff sleeves, and then it kind of like flared out a little bit. And I had some little black the little patent leather black shoes. Yeah, that you wear like on Easter and stuff. And then I had my hair up in like this cute little bun and everything. And so yeah, he treated me like we were going on like a real date for real. So like opened my door for me like when I got in the car.
So beautiful.
And then we went to the city and we had dinner, and I was able to order off the big girl menu. That was something that like I never really ordered like for myself and stuff, and he let me order like off the adult menu. And then I love cheesecake, y'all. Like cheesecake is my favorite dessert. So then we went to we didn't go to Junior's because that's like a famous like cheesecake spot in New York. But we went somewhere. I think it was one of like the little Italian spots. I don't know. The cheesecake was busting up. It was strawberry cheesecake that I got, and the piece was probably as big as me at the time. So I was able to get that cheesecake. I was so happy about that. And then we got a caricature thing. Caricature thing. Yeah, that. Caricature. I don't know. I never knew how to say that word. Caricature, whatever. Yeah. The big head drawing. Yeah. We got one drawn of us when we were in the city, and I actually still have it. And that was just a time when I was just like, I was like, oh, and I just felt he made me feel like safe, because I remember we were walking, and like I said, I was a lot smaller than I am now. And there was a lot of like large people walking around. And so adults, and but in my mind I was like, look at all these giants,
Look at all these people.
all these people.
Oh my
Yeah, so we were walking around, and I remember I was scared because there was just mad people, and so I kind of like, he saw me like kind of like cringe a little, like and he just like grabbed my hand, was like, it's okay, and I was like, now it's gonna make, now I feel like I want to cry because I'm.
Cause you give it the whole thing, you get into your emotion. I'm like,
just a
girl,
little
you gonna
bit.
make your stomach.
Don't grab the tissue. But yeah, that was a really special moment for me, and I feel like that. Thank you. I feel like it kind of set the tone for like how I wanted to be treated, and how I do get treated. Like when I tell you, like that really set the standard. Like princess treatment only. When I say that, like I dead ass mean that, because it's. If I want something, or like if I want to be treated a certain way, like that's exactly the standard that I go after, because that's what my dad taught me. So
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
that was
beautiful.
Thank you.
Fond memory moment or an experience that your inner child wishes that you could have had, that maybe you saw like a friend have, or like a cousin experience with their father.
I will say, like, the moments where my dad would be able to get me and my two other siblings all together, like, we always had a good time. And my dad was actually really into music. So that's one thing I can give him. He had a great music taste, and he even, like, made his own little album one time. And one of his songs actually did include, like, us, his siblings, in it. And I remember hearing that. I was like, oh, you put me on his thing. But, yeah, you know, before alcoholism got the best of him, he was, you know, he did the best that he could. And I will say, he knew how to make some bomb ass noodles, boy. I would be like, Dad, can you make me the ramen that you like?
No wonder why you like noodles so much.
I love pasta.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
pasta. He made some bomb ass ramen. I'd be like, what do you use? Because he wouldn't just use the packet. He would, you know,
Chef
sauce
it
it up.
up.
I'd be like, yo, can you make me some ramen? So I will say those are like the best memories. And then like the house that he had in Germany, it was like in the country of Germany, but like country in Germany is different than country in America. Like it was a pretty ass country,
countryside country.
Yeah, countryside country. Like it looked like a postcard, like the green hills and like animals out there, and it was just like a lot of land. Like it was very pretty out there. Yeah, it was really pretty, and the house that he stayed in was really nice.
Did you frolic in the flowers?
I never frolicked in the flowers. Yeah, but we would like take a walk around the neighborhood and everything. You know, like European structure and like houses. It's like very visually
Vintage,
appealing. So it was nice. You know,
love
good
that.
times.
We gotta frolic one of these days.
In the flowers.
Yes, let's frolic in the flowers. Heal our inner child.
medicine.
That'll be really healing.
Some
for us, I feel like.
Benadryl in the pocket.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Papa Zyrtec before.
I think for me, this is really hard because, like, my dad's very goofy. I think that's where I get my personality from. I definitely do, because he's a goofball. And I think just moments where he's being himself, because it's really funny to see. So, and I'm always like, I'm pretty, because my mom, she's kind of silly, but like she's really chill. She's a very chill person. So I was like, I always wonder, like, where do I get this inner spaz from? Because I'm a strange one, right? So like, I be seeing him just do something stupid, and I just be like, I would do this shit too. So I think like moments like that, for sure. For me.
Yeah.
Good memories. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't think I was gonna be able to say that. That's crazy.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Proud of you.
Like I was saying before, y'all, my memory is just like really, really just not, I don't have good concrete memories from like my childhood, like that I can really pinpoint like specific moments. Like I can remember doing things and going places, but not really like the details. So I honestly, a specific memory doesn't really stand out to me, which is very sad to say. But I will say that like I definitely always yearned for the relationships I saw my friends have with their fathers, for sure. Just like them actually looking like they had a relationship. And like actually looking like they actually like talk to each other, like, you know, taking their child's friends out and things like that. I just didn't really experience with my father, unfortunately. But and like as far as like showcases and things, from what I remember, he would come, I think, and like, you know, be congratulatory, but it's sad, y'all. I gotta go to therapy and really unpack some of these things. for real. Because my words are so jumbled because my thoughts are everywhere. But
Sad. You're just growing.
yeah, no, I know. But yeah, I just wish I had that closeness. That's something my inner child yearn for sure. Cause yeah, so many daddy's girls, but I don't know that. I don't know that.
I ain't gonna cap. I definitely don't know what it feels like.
I don't
to be a
know what
daddy's
that's
girl.
like.
I feel like I just be chilling.
Yeah. I mean, I remember going to a daddy-daughter dance in middle school, and I think I remember that being pretty nice. I think I remember that being pretty nice and like a prominent memory. I think we still have a picture from that somewhere in the house. So that was nice. I can think of. But I felt something in the corner, and I'm like, we're not gonna do that. But oh no, I'm okay. So
If you need it,
I do want to thank you. I do want to ask, what do y'all feel like y'all have done, or are you currently doing possibly to try to heal from your issues that root from your dad?
Therapy.
Okay.
Therapy. Everybody needs it. I don't care what your excuse
Absolutely.
for not going is. We need it. We need it. We need it. Therapy. And Jesus.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
I think what keeps me like from really just starting my journey with therapy is like I don't know, like being scared to open up to a therapist and maybe finding out that that's not my therapist. Like, I know people be kind of therapist dating, and I just don't want to go too far with one person. And then it's like, oh, now I got to go open up to another person. I'm really like, I'm terrible with having to rehash out my feelings, because then it's just like, now I'm annoyed and now I don't want to do it. But
have you ever tried the therapist matching, like on some of the websites? Like
I have, and I just have not made that step to make the appointment.
I feel you though. I don't know why, but I'm scared of the first session. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe because I don't know what to expect. But like, I just got to get over that hump. It's like, okay, just go to the first one.
Just do it.
And I found, like, I've done like little kinds of sessions things where I found myself like really wanting to just dump. And I feel like once I start, it's gonna be like dump. And I mean, it might be a great thing, but it's kind of scary. But therapy is definitely
like to talk, because I was like,
and
I'm ready.
I feel like
Let's sit down. So I got some problems.
Yeah,
I got some problems and I'm sick of it.
But what about y'all too? Anything
Writing.
y'all done?
Writing.
Okay.
I write.
Yeah.
I write. I used to,
journaling.
when I used to struggle with like telling my parents or like my dad or whatever how I felt, I would write letters and then slip it under their bedroom door.
Oh really?
Yes. Whenever I felt like I couldn't like articulate or like get my point across sometimes, or just get things like across, I would find myself, that was the best way of communication, because I feel like at one point my parents were kind of in like that survival mode, like mentality, like just trying to provide those basic needs and not really focus on the emotional support aspect. So when I would like express myself or something, like they would listen to me, but I'm like, are y'all really hearing me though? Like, are y'all really hearing me to understand? And like, I don't fault them for it, because they're human too, but I wanted to be heard, and I was gonna make sure that you heard me in some way, shape, or form. And so writing is something that I would write, put letters under their door, and I would also write to myself, write stuff to myself, write stuff, then rip it up, throw it away, whatever. Praying a lot, and then just taking a lot of time like for myself to actually like sit in those emotions and like just feel, because I feel like we try to rush our healing process sometimes and not really feel. So I would just sit in my emotions. I would cry, I would be angry, I would feel everything, go through, like healing to me is like the different stages of grief, you know? If you don't know those stages, I'm not gonna go through them, but just look them up.
Your best friend.
But you definitely go through it, and so those are probably the ways that I worked on healing, and I still use those methods just to heal different parts of myself in general. So
I love that you were able to, at a young age, be like, okay, I don't know how to say this, so I'm gonna write it down. And I think that's amazing that you were able to come to that so young. Like, finding that thing for you.
A lot of us just bottle stuff up.
Yeah.
And it manifests later on in life.
Yeah,
For sure.
the arts and stuff definitely saved my life.
Reading saved my life.
For
Reading
sure.
and music saved my life.
Like writing, painting, dancing.
Dancing,
That
bro.
the arts like literally saved
Just
my life.
art.
Yeah.
Art saved our lives.
Absolutely.
How
Yeah.
about you, Queso?
For me, I will say like opening up more to him has definitely helped in our healing journey, because there was a time where I thought I forgave him and I thought I was healed, but then I was actually out with my friend for her birthday, and he had called, and I picked up, and she was like, after we were done talking, she was like, "Who are you on the phone with?" I was like, "My dad." She was like, "Your demeanor completely changed."
Wow.
She was like, "I don't know if you noticed, but she was like, you picked up the phone and you went from like here to here." And I was like, damn. And I noticed it after she said it, and I was like, damn. So like maybe I still have some of that resentment.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit me till when there was a point he was talking about, he was watching TV and they were talking about daddy issues. And he just thought it was funny. He was like, "I know you don't got no daddy issues, right?" And when he said that,
What the?
I really wanted to be like, "Nigga, are you serious?"
Yeah.
I really wanted to say that, but I was like, and in that moment I was like, this ain't the time to have the conversation, because he wasn't ready to hear it. But I was like, I really need to open up to him, because he does not know.
Because
He doesn't know.
And it's not funny.
He doesn't know. He thinks, he knows the mistakes that he made, but I don't think he knows to the extent at which it affected us or even my siblings, his other kids.
Wow.
So I was like, I really need to start opening up to this man, because he does not know in the ways that which he affected me. He didn't know that I had realized from a young age that he had like addiction issues, and I had to open up about that. And I was like, I had to hit him with the specific experience, like a specific memory. I was like, "Do you remember that?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah." So, okay, I'll say it on here real quick. But there was a moment, he had all of my siblings in the car, and we were driving, and they were asleep. My big brother was in the front seat. He was knocked out. My little sister was in the back asleep. I think he thought I was asleep, but I wasn't. And he started smoking a cigarette in the car. In the car, with the windows rolled up. So I was like, "Dad, can you roll a window down?" And then he rolled it down and like threw it out real quick. And I was like, "Do you remember that moment?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I don't think you realize, like, in that moment, I really looked at you as like a bad father." Because I'm like, you got your kids in the car. My little sister was younger than me at the point. I'm like, "You're smoking a cigarette? Like, that's bad." So like, I don't think he realized. It was just like little things like that. A bunch of little moments like that where I was like, you don't realize how like I knew from a young age you had a problem and how it affected me and the way I viewed you. Because I thought at that moment I was like, "You're a bad dad for that."
Yeah.
Especially because, you know, they started talking about the DARE program and, you know, so you all automatically like, "Ooh, don't do this, don't do that." And I'm like, you really just sat here and smoked a cigarette with like, your kids in the car and the windows were up. Were you not thinking? So it was just a bunch of moments like that where I was like, I really don't think he knows that I know how bad his situation was. So just by me opening up to him, and I will say he's real good at saying sorry. I'll give him that. So like, he'll apologize and he'll be like, "You know, this wasn't my intentions." And we're just now getting to a point where things are getting a lot better. I'm able to like open up to him more. You know, I'm able to like really talk to him and not feel that resentment, you know, where I'm like, okay, that was a nice conversation that we had. So that's how I know I really am growing. But like, me definitely opening up more to him, because we say it all the time. It's like the first step in fixing an issue is recognizing that there is one. And I don't think he recognized that he had an issue for real. So I was like, okay, I need to open up more so that you know. And then he started apologizing, and I think it starts clicking in his head like, damn, like the things I did really did affect y'all. So we are getting to a better place, and I have a lot less resentment for him, but we're still working on it. So things like I said, therapy, writing, journaling, talking to someone, healing our own trauma so that we, you know, aren't making the same mistakes with
Because
our
kids watch.
Yeah.
Kids watch. And I like, parents sometimes may not realize,
even
but
just
we're
watch,
literally
absorb.
like
Yeah, absorbing.
sponges.
Yes.
Like some of the core memories that we're talking about are before like our teenage years and stuff like that. Like, these kids are affected by everything that y'all do. Like, and I don't know if people really realize to the extent of what that could lead to. Like, kids literally, like, they don't forget stuff. They just end up being adults. Like, that's how things happen. Like, you know, when you grow and stuff like that. So some of these adults here, that they're an adult in age, but they're literally just like grown children.
Oh wow!
You know what I'm saying?
Deep.
Yeah.
You said these adult tears
Like,
are from the child.
it's like,
damn.
you know what I'm saying? It's just like one of those things where it's like, kids pay attention.
Yes.
And, you know, it's like, if you don't try to stop or fix things from when you're younger, you'll end up being like, I mean, everybody has some sort of trauma or stuff that they're going through in their life, but like, you'll literally be like us in our 20s, like recognizing things from our childhood, and luckily we're able to recognize and grow from it. That's the thing, like that's good about each of us, that we're able to recognize and grow. But some people, they don't have that luxury, or they don't have that time to sit down and,
or they realize it later, like we're still young,
too late. You know, sometimes they realize it so late. You'll be like 60 years old, and now you realize you got daddy issues, and your daddy's not even here no more. Like, God, not, you know, never mind. I get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I mean, say you like 80. Okay, there we go.
But no, that was a great point that you make, Abby. Me personally, what have I done or am I trying to do to heal? Like I was saying before, like it really wasn't until we started like really getting into planning this episode that I really started to think like, that's not right. I mean, I've always noticed it, but like really kind of just sitting in the thought and really kind of making those comparisons and like really just thinking about how, like, in what specific ways my relationship with my father has like affected my life. So I can honestly say I haven't really done anything to try to heal from my issues thus far.
So where will you start? Or where do you think you can start?
I would love to say therapy, but I just have to do it. And I just have to do it. Like I just have to find it and do it. And it's a pricey thing, but I really just got to make that investment. So yeah, and I do want to start journaling. That's one of my goals, self goals, to start journaling and just writing things down and just kind of expressing myself. Because I did used to keep a diary when I was younger, and it did a lot for me. I would talk to that thing that was my home girl, like literally like, hey diary, how you doing, girl? I'm good. Literally. So I think that is definitely something that I can put in action to try to heal, and just therapy for sure. I just need someone to really kind of just talk through these things with me and really unlock these things, because even me just trying to just sit and tap in while we're having this discussion, I find myself just rambling and like stumbling on my words because I don't even really know. Like I can't really formulate these thoughts and experiences in my head the right way. But that was a good discussion, guys. I really appreciate that. I think that we did really well.
Yeah, minimal tears were shed. You know, tears were shed, but like it wasn't as, you know, drastic as it could have been.
Oh my God. Yeah, it ain't go too crazy.
Yeah. When we were planning this episode, y'all, we were really like, oh my God.
We were like, me, I was anxious. I was real anxious. I mean,
anxiety was anxiety.
I mean, the episode not over yet, so hopefully it won't come like at the end. But
I kind of feel mine brewing.
I feel it brewing for this last question. But anyway, but not yet though. We going into our What's Weird Sweetie segment.
What's weird, sweetie?
What's weird, sweetie? And that's the segment where we get questions from, you know, outside listeners, or, you know, whoever wants to write in and ask a question relating to either, you know, our
episode topic
that we're talking about right now, or maybe even, you know, from a previous episode, if you wanted a question answered, or, you know, wanted to hear our thoughts. So this one actually comes from a friend of our videographer Chase, and her name is Barry. Shout out to Barry. Appreciate your question, girl.
Hey, Ron.
She asked, do you think having an absent father figure, just like a strained father relationship, directly affects or influences like your romantic relationship, specifically with perhaps like going after older men?
I will say, even though this isn't my personal thought, because it's not like I do say like I go after older men, but not older men like in their 40s, or, you know, it's like, you know, I do prefer to talk to men that are slightly older, but I think it's because we seek men that are like more mature, you know, so it's like we're running away from the immaturity in our own fathers to try to find someone who's more mature, or like even the way where you were saying, do we run away or run to our fathers? I'm running away.
Okay.
I am running far away. I do not want someone who is like my father. So I try to find someone who is a lot more emotionally intelligent, someone who is mature. So usually you find that in older men because they've gone through a little bit more in life. They, you know, gone through a little more experiences. Now, you know, there are those few that, you know, I find around my age and even younger who are very wise.
Yeah.
But like, I just think we automatically attach maturity to age. So that's why it's like, okay, I have daddy issues, so I want to go after someone older, not because, you know, it's a fetish or anything like that, but because I'm seeking someone who isn't like my father, who is immature.
Yeah.
Retweet what Queso
Retweet,
said.
you know.
Because that was great.
No, yeah, that was definitely great. And I can definitely agree for sure. I mean, you see it like just with people that y'all know that or have seen in media and stuff that go after like these older men and like
Ages.
I'm not an ageist. You know, I actually thought about psychology.
I love old people. I
Neighbor
swear.
is 92.
I love old
I need to
people.
redeem myself real quick. This is when this is a specific situation where I feel like it's beneficial that some of these older folks are leaving. So the leader of the Ku Klux Klan, the Ku Klux Klan,
I did see that. It did pass away.
died. These are the type of people that
I
gotta
know
go.
that.
These are the type of people that gotta go. Okay,
Yeah.
for things to happen. I
Kill
feel
off
like.
the old people stage.
Not all the old people. I love elders. Huh? I mean,
out loud. Y'all are covering up mouth like there isn't a microphone right now. I know that. Are you talking about the
Oh my God. No.
just the
My
people
bad,
that
not really,
the
but-
people that further promote oppression. People who promote oppression amongst me and my folks.
Me and my homegirls.
Not all of them,
Y'all
because
are so
there are
funny.
still good ones out there for sure. Okay.
Yeah, because Betty White was my girl.
Okay, she lived to be 100. I'm telling my kids she was 100
Julie
years old.
Andrews.
All them, all
Love
the
her.
great ones. There are great
know
ones
my
out
name.
there.
Julie Andrews is the grandma
Don't-
from the Princess Diaries.
Oh,
She's
heard
the
you.
queen.
With like Anne Hathaway and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, got you.
she's the queen.
Meryl
Meryl Streep.
But yeah, no, definitely what Casey said. That was a great answer to that question. But thank you again, Barry. Please, y'all, DM us at what is it? Life is Weird Pod.
One.
That's the email.
That's the email.
That's the email.
Yeah.
I was saying
That's
that
the email. Email us, but also DM
Yeah.
us at Life is Weird Pod.
Even if y'all want some advice, you know, I don't know what kind of advice y'all gonna get. And we might be going through the same situations that y'all going through, but we'll get through it together. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and dive into our last segment.
Jesus.
So we're doing how's life, sis, but I have a sub question that, you know, relates to the topic at hand. So everybody, is there something that you'd want to tell your father that he does not know?
Let's go. I want to go first.
Oh my gosh, why
Go ahead, Gan.
why do I feel slight emotion brewing?
Girl, it's okay.
okay.
Be a human.
She says, I'm being an emotionalist ass robot.
Be robot.
Yeah, what would you tell him right now?
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my gosh. I would probably say like, don't be so hard on yourself. This is ghetto. You're not coming your mic. I'm crying in the club.
Oh my
You are crying in Queso's apartment. It is okay. We are open.
Club Queso.
gosh. Oh man.
And my voice still cracking. I would say don't be so hard on yourself, Dad. You are doing the damn thing.
Sometimes I need to hear that
Like,
too.
give yourself more credit than you do, because, like, even if you may feel like there's
She got
certain
me crying.
I know.
Oh my god.
like there's certain like milestone. I'm still shaking in my voice.
Okay, breathe
Milestones and like things that you
Why are you laughing?
Because I said shaking in my voice, shaking in my boots. Blood clots.
Cheese on peas.
Oh, jeez on peas. No, but really, like, don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself a lot more credit than you do, because, you know, there's milestones and like heights in life that you have reached that you may not even realize that you have actually accomplished a lot of great things, even if it may not be like on your schedule or in your timing, or you may feel like life has been like beating you down at some points. Like, you're really doing the damn thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have been a great dad. You've been a great dad, and fuck me. Not fuck me, dad.
Oh my god.
I'm saying, like, sorry for the audio people. It's because I'm still crying. That's why. That's why I said fuck
Oh
me.
my gosh,
Because my eyes are still watering. But
dude,
you've been a great dad so far, and I think, well, I hope that one day when I get married, that my kids will have a dad that is as great as you. So, yeah, don't be so hard on yourself, PD. Like, you're doing a great job.
You're doing amazing.
And yeah, give yourself some grace. And this is me giving you your flowers because you deserve them.
That was beautiful. That was so beautiful.
I didn't expect me to cry. I thought I was gonna cry on another part, but like this one, like for real. But yeah, that's me. Okay, I'm done. Emotional part over.
You want me to say a question again, or you got it?
no, I got it. I got it.
Why do we always associate crying with ghetto niggas?
Because we hate it.
Femininity.
I love
Femininity.
it. Stop girl era. Stop girl era.
Thank you for trying.
Aw, give me a hand. Because I felt that one. I felt that one.
Thank you for trying, because, like, I know we have our issues, and I know circumstances just didn't allow us to have the relationship that I'm pretty sure we both wanted. But you tried, and you're trying, and a lot of men don't do that. So thank you for trying. And I know it's a two-way street, and I got to do better with, like, allowing you to be a part of my life. So, yeah. I didn't think I was going to say that. I really didn't. I really didn't. That's crazy. But thank you for trying.
That was good.
That was very well said.
That was good. My turn.
Yeah.
I don't like
No, that was actually really good, Kelsey. I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of yours and say that, like, I do love you. You know, even though we be talking lots of shit, and, lots of trauma, lots of healing, lots of growth had to happen because of our relationship. But kind of like you said, Kelsey, like, I felt like he did the best that he could with the circumstances that he was under and with the cards that he was dealt.
Yeah.
So I will give him that, and like I said, our relationship has gotten so much better. And because, like, my mom, we gonna talk about mom issues too. My mama is very stubborn, okay? I have not heard her say sorry to me many times, but he does apologize. And I feel like he is starting to realize now how the decisions that he made affected and still are affecting me and his other kids. And I know he feels bad about it, as he should. I'm sorry. But, you can't reverse what happened, but all we can do is move forward from here. So I do appreciate the fact that he is starting to kind of, realize everything that he did, and he's trying to do better because of it, even though he's still struggling. And I know addiction is one hell of a thing to overcome. And he's trying. I give him his props for trying. And like I said, I feel like you're doing the best that you can with the cards that you're dealt with. So, you know, but I do love you. I do.
That's beautiful.
I do.
No, seriously, love that.
Yeah.
Oh, child. What would I want to tell? First of all, I hope you don't ever really hear this. I'm not even gonna lie. I feel like just really like thinking about it.
Whoa, is that the last tissue? No.
I think so.
I'm so dead. I feel like I have like broken pieces in my heart just from like just not experiencing like a relationship, like a fatherly relationship. Like I did a lot of comparing growing up to like my friends and like how they interacted with their fathers, like just like noticing interest. Like I felt like there just wasn't really any interest there. And that really did kind of suck. Like, and I didn't know how to communicate it, like, because there just wasn't that comfortable line of communication to talk about these things. Like, like all my life, anything that I really wanted to tell my dad, I would tell my mom to tell my dad. Like, we just were not talking. I know that would hurt my mom's feelings too, and maybe it hurt his too, but he just never made that effort to try and like break it down. And it's like I have to look at how he was brought up and just take that into consideration and give grace on that, because I know how my grandma is. She's a very stern woman too.
Yeah.
She was always a very stern woman. I'm sure she raised her kids like that. She had a lot of kids. I don't even know his relationship with his dad. I just wish that we knew each other. Like I don't know. I don't know you and you don't know me. And there just was never. I just never felt that true effort, that true interest, honestly. And I just think that really, 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 really sucks. And I know I can't say it's like too late because I'm only 24. He's older. He's like what, 62? But like I'd be feeling like it's too late, and I know I shouldn't say that. But yeah, like I just never felt I just never felt that desire to like for that connection. And I have a lot of resentment in my heart. I can't say that I used to or I might. I know I do.
Yeah.
Like I know that for a fact. And I just your girl need therapy, okay? I know I have so many things that really just have really impacted my life, and I just haven't been able to tap into it because I didn't think it was gonna be that hard, but yeah.
Can I challenge you to do something before you go to therapy? So, because a lot of the times we don't know where to start when it comes to like having these conversations with your parents. And you kind of already touched on it where you were like, I don't know my father's life and like what his relationship like is with his parents. I would challenge you to have a conversation with your dad and ask him like, what was your life like growing up? What was your life like with your parents? What was your life like as a child? Because like when I tell you, when I had that conversation with my parents, I know we talk about daddies, but I had this conversation with my mom too. So much of why she is the way she is started to make sense. You know, so I feel like it might, like, even, don't get me wrong, we all still need therapy. Go to therapy. But like, before you even go to therapy, I would challenge you to have a conversation with your dad. I know it might be awkward. Baby, I know. Trust me. I know it's awkward. I promise you. I know. But when I tell you, I got so much clarity. I got so much insight after I asked, like, what was your relationship like with your parents? And my dad didn't know his dad. That right there, I was like, okay. I mean, they have a relationship now, and I did meet him once in my life, and I'm grateful for that. But, like, he was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother had my dad young, and she basically raised him. And we already know what it's like when a single young black mother has to raise a son. It's not easy. So that already, I was like, that makes sense. So I would just challenge you to try to have a conversation with your dad. If you don't know where to start, you're like, look, I want this relationship with you. I have no idea where to start. Start there. Yeah. And then y'all, that right there will already be a bonding moment, because it's like, we've never talked like this before. You know? It ain't gonna be easy. It's not. None of this healing shit is easy, but it's necessary. Yeah. And it's never too late.
The hard conversations are usually the ones worth having.
I definitely agree. It's just hard even thinking of a setting where we'd be sat together to even speak on it's like the whole setup of it.
Bring them to the living room.
Yeah.
Bring them to the living room.
Say, hey, like, you want to go grab coffee, something. I don't know. Like, you're going to have to create that space. Yeah. Unfortunately. Like, that's something that you're going to have to create that setting so that you can have that conversation.
Unfortunately.
No, I was going to go.
So I was just going to say, unfortunately, I have this stubbornness that I got from him to even feel like I should put forth the effort. Because I'm very in my head like, you're the father. Like,
I get that. I get that. Because I had the same thought.
But remember, we had this conversation before where I was like, sometimes you do got to check people. Sometimes you got to check other people to make sure they're doing their job. And it shouldn't be that way, but it is what it is. Life is not fair all the time. I wish it was, but it's not. And it's like, sometimes you should be doing your job. But if they were doing their job, we wouldn't be sitting here having this episode.
And
so it's like, you know.
And if you don't check them and tell them that they're not doing their job, then how do they know they're not doing their job?
Some people really do be oblivious.
Yeah, he definitely know.
Yeah. Sometimes you really do got to parent the parent.
You know, because I have no desire to speak. I literally am in avoidance mode a lot of the time when we live in the same house.
But is that what he's used to?
Yeah, you got to figure that out.
I don't know.
As I said, before you go to therapy, have that conversation. Be like, what was your childhood life like? What was your relationship like with your parents?
And this could not only help you, this could help your sister too.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe I would tell her and be like,
y'all can have it together. If that makes something. The beauty of this is you can do it on your terms. You know, I know you're saying like, oh, I shouldn't have to do this, but don't look at it like that. Be like, I get the opportunity to do this. So since I get the opportunity to start this off, it's going to be on my terms. If y'all want to be in public, be in public. If you're like, listen, I don't want to be in public because tears might come, we're going to sit in the living room. If you want to bring your sister in, like, it's on your terms now, you know?
Because life is too short. Like, we say it all the time, but like, when you really start feeling that shit firsthand, that like life is short, like take advantage of opportunities that you have to have these difficult conversations and create that space, because you don't want it to like, you don't want to ever get to the point where it's like, well, what if, or like, damn, like I didn't get a chance to, or I should have at some point in your life. You don't want it to grow into that.
And I think that's a thing for me too, like me kind of just protecting my feelings from like having those conversations with him. Like, okay, it's been this long throughout my life to where we haven't had a close relationship. If I just keep it that way, then maybe I'll be okay with when that time is not, when I don't have that time anymore. Maybe it'll hurt less. That's kind of my mind, which is not good. Yeah. It's not good. But I just think dealing with grief, you really kind of just put life into a weird ass perspective. But I mean, I don't know, y'all. I won't make any promises.
Yeah, no promises. That's why I said it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Think about what you want.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about what you like, what the end goal is, and like who you're doing it for. Like, it's not necessarily sometimes to, you know, like get closure. Sometimes it's like sometimes you don't get closure from certain things, but like if this is about you moving forward. And right now, like, Sage is at point A. Sage wants to get to point B. There's steps and stuff that you're going to have to take to get to point B. So it's about what you want out of this whole thing. What do you want for your... That's another question. Add that on to Queso's challenge to ask yourself, what does Sage want for herself? And what does that look like? Once you can start figuring out what do you want, what does that look like, then you can see, okay, how do I proceed? Have that conversation, create the setting. Yeah, what are the steps
I need to do like to get to that point?
And it may take a couple. We may air this, and then you may not have a conversation with him about it for a couple months, years. Who knows? But it's all about what you want. Yeah.
And if it doesn't go as planned, don't beat yourself up. because
part.
you took that step.
Yeah.
And now at that point, you've done all you could do, and it's time to focus on Sage.
And then I'm like a perfectionist to a fault. If I feel like I tried something that didn't work, I will beat myself up. But I gotta
You
get
can't
out
put
of
that fault on yourself.
Yeah, get out of that
'Cause now you're
mindset. I've really
taking-
been trying to give myself grace lately. Y'all,
Yeah.
for things.
Yeah.
It's tough. But okay, I appreciate y'all's.
We'll do a little check
Yeah,
in.
we will.
Sorry for the
Good
tears,
episode.
y'all.
Good episode.
Very
Healing.
emotional. Definitely tap in with us if you can relate to anything. If you have any thoughts on anything that we said, if you have any disagreements on anything that we said, tap in. We want to hear from y'all. Thank y'all for listening.
Thank you guys.
Life is Weird podcast. Tune in for episode 7 because we get into the mommy issues too. Y'all not safe.
Yo, what's
Y'all ain't safe.
It ain't safe.
Y'all not safe.
It ain't safe.
Y'all thought.
All right, love y'all.
Love you guys. Bye.
Good job, guys.
Tommy.